eSIM Studios YouTube and mobile app. The eSIM Studios YouTube channel offers the very best technology news and reviews with in-depth coverage found nowhere else. Hosted by founder and creator, Taylor Bell. He's a really good dude, college educated, and worked inside the industry. He knows what he is talking about. The eSIM Studios mobile app is an experience unlike any other tech app, with an easy-to-use interface view, late-breaking tech news from all over the industry, and so much more. The samstudios.app also includes the unlocker. Learn to unlock phones from the professionals for free. The clean and intuitive layout, finding breaking news articles and deals in tech has never been easier. Watch and listen to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel and podcast from within the app. Additional features include easy Gcam download and installation, the Android Flash tool, and sign up for our weekly giveaway drawing. Download the eSIM Studios mobile app at simstudios.app and find us on YouTube by simply searching eSIM Studios.
Yeah.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIM Studios podcast, live stream episode number 220 on this Thursday afternoon, October the 17th. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you do miss any of these stories, we only got one story for you today. I'm crunched on time. I have other obligations. However, I had to get to this story. Fantastic story for you OnePlus lovers out there. However, if you do miss this, or let's say you join midway through, right? You can always go to our eSIM Studios YouTube channel and catch the replay. So I'm streaming on like 8 different platforms. So trying to get the message out there to as many platforms as possible. Trying to get the show out there. It's been gaining a lot of popularity. So I want to thank you. My hat's off to you. The viewer, the subscriber of the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. Now, remember, it is on. If you want to catch the replay, it'll be on. Go to YouTube, search eSIM Studios. All of our content is there. We have uploaded over 1,000 videos now. We just hit 1,000 uploaded videos, I guess, and live stream, but 1,000 pieces of content for you over the last 2 years. I believe our channel has just hit 2 years as well. So it's pretty good. It's about 500 videos a year. It's like, what, 1.1 videos a day? Anyways, we also upload this in the audio form. So if you want to catch this, if you want to take us on the go, if you got errands to run, picking up the kiddos from school, whatever you're doing, chores around the house, simply go to whatever your favorite podcast platform is, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Music app, Samsung Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, doesn't matter. Wherever you get your podcasts, simply search eSIM Studios. We will pop up. So again, thank you for joining us today. Now, I wanted to get into OnePlus. So OnePlus is probably one of my more favorite carriers. It's one of my more favorite manufacturers. Now, I just kind of got back in with them in this past, I want to say about probably in the last 6 months. Now, I have the OnePlus 13, but I've had it for about 6 months. Oh, no, actually, did I get that at launch? I believe I did get that at launch. So it's been almost 8 months because they're bumping forward the launch of the OnePlus 13. So, I had the OnePlus 12 for about 8 months when it came out. Also have the 12R. And it looks like OnePlus fans are going to be very happy with this refresh. Now, we'll get into the design. There's some picture leaks. We have specs. We have details. All that good stuff. But I kind of lost touch with them, so to speak, if you want to say that, for a couple of years. I think I stopped. So I've had every OnePlus device. I stopped buying them, I think... And I've had the OnePlus 9. I had the OnePlus 10T. Okay, so I stopped for a year. I did not have. The only one I have not had is the 11. So I stopped purchasing them after the 10 or 10T. I can't remember what I had. I think it was 10. I think it was the 10. I did not get the T. So I did not get the 10T, and I did not get the 11. That was about a year and a half. They weren't going in a direction that I thought I liked, right? So the software was kind of veering off course. They weren't just going in a different direction I personally did not agree with. So I stopped buying their phones, right? That's my choice as a consumer. And it looks like now with this OnePlus 12 and 12R, it looks like they're veering back on course, right? They're putting all they've always had the hardware there, but they've always lacked in camera quality and or video quality. And their operating system kind of went left. I think it was, I don't even remember the software version, but you get the point. It looks like they're finally getting back to, they're pulling in some more of the original OnePlus lovers. So OnePlus was created in part by Carl Pei, among a couple other people. But Carl Pei, once the Oppo brand purchased OnePlus, I think 3 years ago. That's when Carl Pei, one of the founders of OnePlus, got out of OnePlus and started nothing, right? But that's not for today's story. But started out as a flagship device that you could get for a mid-range cost, right? So they were like with the OnePlus One, essentially brought you flagship performance at a much cheaper price. I think it was half the price of current flagships. Slowly but surely, the price keeps on creeping up, and that's to be expected. I mean, they can't always keep the price at half, right? If the S24 Plus or a $1,000 smartphone, which is a typical flagship, they're obviously getting a little higher. A typical flagship cell phone, $1,000. OnePlus can't keep their costs at $500 every year. Now, they do have something up their sleeve, and we'll get into here shortly. Now, it appears, I think the OnePlus 13, I think it started at $799, right? And at launch, you could get $100 off, so it bumps it down to $699, and then you could have a trade-in. They get you a bunch of money off, which would, I think when I upgraded, it was just a few $100s, right? So it's, with a lot of these cell phone launches, I'm not talking about iPhone. With Android, a lot of these launches, you can cut the cost simply by taking advantage of the pre-order sales and trade-in deals. I always do that. Always do that. Now, OnePlus bumped up the release of the OnePlus 13, and it looks like 13R. 12R was very popular. And they're going to release it here in a week or two. So they're going to announce it here in a week or two, and we got all these specs. All the specs. I got pictures for you. Pictures leaked today. So we got a lot of good stuff. So let's get into what it looks like, right? We all basically know what the OnePlus 12 looks like. It's got that circular design. Well, let's see what this new one looks like. So here is the OnePlus 13. Now, not the phone that the gentleman is holding up top. That's the Oppo Find X8. So Oppo is the parent company. OnePlus is the sub-brand. But the OnePlus 13 is down there on the bottom. It is a whitish color. Now, if you're saying, well, kind of looks the same as the OnePlus 12. Well, here, I'll tell you what the difference is. The difference between the OnePlus 12 and the OnePlus 13 is there's no, what could you call it? There's no side rail. So on the OnePlus 12, you still had that circular camera design. However, it had like a little protruding island, sort of like what the iPhone has, how it has a camera island around the sensors. It has this square part right here that my finger is outlining. So the OnePlus 12 had the same thing going around the circle. So it would protrude from the side, and then it would encompass the whole camera island right there. Kind of like kind of looks like a stovetop, right? With the sensors, like a burner. Anyways, this OnePlus 13 does not have the camera island now protruding to the side. It's just that circular, I guess technically it's a camera island, but it just has the circle with the 4 cameras in it. No side protruding material going off to the left side, which is a little different, right? And there you have the Oppo Find X8, which is they're sort of brother and sister device. Since Oppo owns OnePlus, they're going to use a lot of the same design language. They're going to use a lot of the same materials to cut costs in manufacturing the OnePlus devices, right? Now, here's another picture. Let's get into this other picture here. Check this out. So here is a black version of the OnePlus 13. Now, we don't have any confirmed colors. However, you do see a black here, and you do see a cream color and or white there, maybe a light silver. Just it's hard to tell in that lighting in the lighting. We're not exactly sure, but you will get a light color, white or light silver or a cream color. So you'll get that one there in the picture, and you'll get a black one. They always release a black model. Now, here's the third option that we don't know. Is it going to be that forest green again? Maybe. Is it going to be a sky blue again? Maybe. We don't know. So that's one of the few things that is left unknown at the moment. But let's get into the specs. Very interesting. So it looks like we reported earlier this week it's going to have a custom chipset, sort of like Samsung does with their connection and collaboration with Qualcomm and the Snapdragon series of chips that Samsung puts in their Galaxy devices. You'll see custom Qualcomm chip. Samsung, likes to promote that, but look, you kind of have to wiggle through the BS. The only customization it holds compared to the generalized Snapdragon series is it's just overclocked and just barely, meaning it's just the performance is just boosted just a tiny bit. And I think they just did that to say a custom chipset for Samsung. And I think it's going to be the same thing with OnePlus. I think OnePlus is going to carry that custom chipset from Qualcomm where it's just boosted like 0.1 gigahertz, where it'll just be a slight improvement and you really won't see any real life performance boost. It's not like you're going to get way more performance if you buy this OnePlus 13 compared to the new to the new S25 Ultra with the same chipset, the 8 Gen 4. It's not like you're going to get one's going to be faster, have better performance than the other. Basically, you're going to be the same, but you will probably see that here at some point. Now, check this out. So this might be hard to see. It might be hard to see, but we do have specs on the OnePlus 13 and OnePlus 13R. So if you're unfamiliar with the 13R, the R series is like the A series for Pixel, right? It's a watered down version of their flagship device. It's got everything you love from the flagship device, minus one or two features at a cheaper price, but it's pretty damn close to the flagship device. Now, that's like what Nothing does with their A series, the Nothing Phone 2A, right? Compared to their Nothing Phone 2, or the S24 FE, right? Fan edition in Samsung compared to the S24, or the Pixel 8A series compared to the Pixel 8 or Pixel 9, right? The A series is watered down. So OnePlus's version, their watered down version is the R. So it appears OnePlus is going to do the same thing again, releasing a flagship OnePlus 13 and a OnePlus 13R, which is a little cheaper, but roughly the same, minus a few extra features. Now, we have one And before we get into the big news with the R, the OnePlus 12 was a huge seller for OnePlus worldwide, not just here in the United States. Now, the R series is kind of new for the US. Well, it is new. It was the first time they ever released an R series in the United States. You could buy a global version, right? And then the Chinese version is, they call it the OnePlus Ace. Don't know why they change names up all the time, but they do. So this is a very popular device, not only obviously here in America for the 12R, but for the rest of the world. The R series have been huge. The Ace series have been huge because OnePlus really packs a punch with these quote unquote mid-range devices. Now, I don't even know. Technically, I guess it was considered a mid-range this year. I don't know if they can get away with calling it a mid-range, because the big news of the day is that we have reports that the OnePlus 13R is going to have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. That's correct. You heard me right. I had to read it twice. The OnePlus 13R is said to have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. Now, traditionally, the R series, or the Ace series, as they like to call them in the Asian markets, always had a flagship CPU, but it was last year's flagship CPU. So, for example, the OnePlus 12 that came out, the flagship right now, and the 12R, the OnePlus 12 has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. That's the current best CPU Qualcomm makes. And the OnePlus 12R has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 CPU. So that was a year-old flagship. Now, why do they do that? Mainly one thing is cost, right? So they're charging less for the consumer. They're charging less for the R series than their flagship 12. So that means you have to cut costs as a manufacturer building this phone, this device. One of the ways to do that is buy a last year's CPU, right? It costs less to purchase it. Prices have dropped. A new version comes out. So you put that in there. It's still a flagship CPU, and you get almost maximum performance. Very, very high performance. It's not like you're putting a mid-range in there. You're still putting a flagship. And trust me, I still have an 8 Gen 2 device, and it runs freaking badass. So not any issues there. But this year, it looks like the tide might turn where they put it 8 Gen 4 in both. Now, I don't see how much of a price difference you're going to see, right, between the 13R and the 13. Now, here's it, maybe $100. I have no idea. Now, where else would they cut costs, right? So that's why when I saw that report, I was thinking, damn, well, where else are they going to cut costs? Because remember, we did hear the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 is going to be 20% more expensive for these manufacturers to purchase on a per chip basis. So that increased your costs. Now, hopefully they don't pass it on to us, the consumer, but how else are they going to get their revenues on point, right? They have projections they have to hit, and price with everything plays a enormous factor in these devices. Now, there could be people taking side bets on this. So we're not exactly sure. We heard as far as what CPU Qualcomm's going to come out with. We're all assuming it's going to be named 8 Gen 4, just the next generation in Qualcomm Snapdragon flagship CPUs. There was a report, 2 weeks ago, saying that they may change the name. It may be Snapdragon 8 Elite for their flagship CPU, or they might even have an S series, which is their watered-down version of a flagship CPU instead of a flagship device like the A series for the Pixel or A series for nothing or FE version for Samsung. It looks like Qualcomm might get in on the watered-down flagship, right? So it is possible. Technically, it's getting an 8 Gen 4. It just could be the 8S Gen 4. in the 13R, and in the top-notch flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 in the OnePlus 13. That would not be unheard of. Remember, Qualcomm released a Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, right? So that is possible that they could be doing that. Maybe our source heard they're getting an 8 Gen 4, and because technically it's just going to be an S version. Now, Qualcomm might put out they will put out the 8 Gen 4, the flagship CPU. And remember, as I mentioned, it's 20% higher than the 8 Gen 3. But what if they put out an 8S Gen 4 and it was the same price as the flagship 8 Gen 3? So I'm thinking, what if OnePlus decides to go with the 8S Gen 4, which is the same price as the 8 Gen 3, which is what they were going to put in there originally anyways, because it's the one-year-old flagship. Remember how they do that with the 12R? Has the 8 Gen 2. So if there's no price increase, if they can manufacture that 8S Gen 4 for the same price that Qualcomm manufactures it at the 8 Gen 3, very likely you will see a variant, should I say, of the 8 Gen 4 CPU in this OnePlus 13. So if that is true for the R series, for the OnePlus 13R, if they can keep the price the same on the 13R as they did with the 12R, you might get a run for your money in phone of the year. I'm not going to say that's true, or it could happen. Definitely you will, and it wouldn't even really qualify for a mid-range anymore, would it? It's going to have a 1.5. We're going to get to the displays here in a second. It's going to have a 1.5K display, the 13R, while the 13 is going to have a 2K display, a true 2K display. It's BOE's best display ever. It should be the highest quality display. It rivals BOE, rivals Samsung in manufacturer displays. It should be a very, very high performing device. So I'm not even sure you can call it a mid-range. Now, if they keep the price the same, technically it will be a mid-range, and it'll just take that. It'll just take that award. We just give them the mid-range phone of the year, unless nothing can. And that's the thing. We'll have to see what Nothing has up their sleeves, because we haven't heard anything on the Nothing Phone 3. It could have the 8S Gen 4 or whatever they name it, right? I doubt it, but it could. The S series are more geared for AI, and that's why Nothing delayed the launch of their Nothing Phone 3, because they're trying to get the AI right. So, maybe they have maybe they put the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, last year's AI variant of Qualcomm Snapdragon flagship CPU. We don't know, but I'm saying you're going to be dealing with a huge performer when it comes to benchmarks, when it comes to specs. I'm talking about the 13R, and if they only charge $599 for it, I'll just give them the award right now, or whenever it comes out, right? I mean, it's going to be outstanding. And then the only other difference between CPU and as I mentioned, the 13R is going to get a 1.5K display. The 13 is getting a 2K display. The only other difference is possibly wireless charging. The 12R did not come with wireless charging. The 12 did. And then you're going to see possibly camera 2 is going to be the difference, right? In between them. So the 13 will obviously get flagship sensors. My OnePlus 12 took the best pictures, the best still photos, I believe, out of any phone that I had, minus the Pixel, not named Pixel. It was phenomenal. The Hasselblad sensors, phenomenal. Now, that's one area where OnePlus can cut back on the cost, since it is a cheaper device. You got to cut the cost somewhere. Can't be a 1-for-1 match, right? With just a slightly less CPU. Something else has to change, but they won't put wireless charging on it like they did with the 12R, which saves them money. And they're going to put probably a year old or two, maybe. I think it's the Samsung JN1, I believe, is the sensor that they're going to put in there, which is a few years old, but that's okay. The 12R took decent photos. It should be a 50 megapixel sensor, same as the 12R, possibly upgraded sensor, but it will be 50 megapixels, right? Here's what the 12R looked like, right there. And I don't know what colors. We don't have pictures of the 13R. We just have pictures of the 13, but it will look similar to this, right? So it'll look similar to this 13 down here at the bottom. It'll look similar to this 13 here that you see in black. We just don't know at the moment, but you will see badass displays. This is BOE right here. A BOE display, new tech from BOE. Should be really, really, really cool. Absolutely cannot wait. So let's see do we have an official launch date? I don't believe we do. Let's see. Let's check real quick. I don't have a launch date. However, there was some really interesting technology in the display that I'll mention here before we get out of here. The OnePlus 13 is set to feature local high refresh rate display technology to improve battery life. So it's going to have both are going to have the 13R and the 13 are going to have the 6,000 milliamp per hour battery. And it's not just a 6,000 milliamp per hour battery. This is new battery technology that you saw. It was just released in the OnePlus Nord, the new Nord that came out. This is brand new technology that nothing came up with. So it's going to be 6,000 milliamp per hour battery. It's going to charge faster. It's going to last longer. And I believe it should blow people's minds away. I think this will get 2 days of heavy usage and it'll charge in, I don't know, 20 minutes. It's going to be insane. But this new feature, now this is a feature BOE. This is an exclusive new technology, display technology designed by BOE. So the two major display manufacturers in the cell phone world is Samsung and BOE. BOE has this new local high refresh rate in their display. Now it's said to drastically increase your battery performance, your battery life, meaning it's not such a drag on your battery. So if you think, what are the 2 or 3 main things that drain your battery? Well, number one is the brightness. How bright is your display? If you got it on full brightness, well, your battery is running low quick. If you're on full brightness. Then you have your modem in your phone. Is your phone constantly trying to search for signals? Is there a weak signal? If you're in a spot with a weak signal, you know what I'm talking about. You know just how fast your battery drains when your modem is constantly searching for signals over and over and over and over, hundreds of times per second, looking for new signals, whether it's Wi-Fi or carrier services. And the third thing is your refresh rate. So the higher the refresh rate, the faster it drains your battery. So this new BOE feature, this new display feature by BOE called Local High Refresh Rate Display Technology. It's a mouthful. Pause. OnePlus on its official website, on its official Weibo page, shared details about their new display technology and features. OnePlus explained it has created, sort of in association, in collaboration with BOE, they've created what they call self-developed adaptive high refresh rate technology. Now, it uses the latest 8T LTPO circuit. I'm not talking about OnePlus 8T. That was a model they had a couple years ago. I'm not talking about the phone, the 8T. This is kind of BOE has a new display, and I'm assuming it's the part number is called 8T, but it's their latest 8T LTPO circuit. Now, this new LTPO circuit offers both multi-scene and multi-level screen refresh rate. Now, which is something we have yet to see in a production smartphone. We've seen some of this, like at CES. I remember seeing something like that. It has never been really put in mass production until now. Now, this is said to drastically increase your battery life. The company explained that this custom local high refresh rate technology will offer different refresh rates for different parts of your screen. That is insane. It's also going to offer more accurate matching along with smoother viewing experience and operation. This does sound very interesting in theory, but real world advantages will be we will have to wait and see what the real world advantages are. I know what I saw at CES with this technology was pretty cool. They just had a problem. I don't know if it was in parts or if it was cost, but for mass producing this, now OnePlus doesn't sell millions upon millions of phones like Apple and Samsung do, but probably going to produce I don't know, 3-4 million of these OnePlus 13s, and that's something you're not going to see in the 13R. This is going to be a 13 exclusive. This new display technology, this new local refresh rate technology, you're only going to see it on the 13, and that's me. Remember, they have to differentiate their pro model, so to speak, and base model, so to speak. Kind of like how iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max have the 120 hertz refresh rate display, even though it's, I think, only rated at 80 in real life. And then you see these 16 and 16 Plus only have a 60 hertz. Well, they kind of have to differentiate some features to ask for the higher prices on the Pro model. Same thing here. So you will not see this new display tech on the 13R. It'll be reserved for their flagship device, the OnePlus 13. So this sounds very cool. And real world advantages, look, we're going to have to see how this operates. I'm sure it's going to work awesome, right? I can just imagine a third of the display running at 30 hertz for viewing 30 frame per second video while watching a YouTube video in portrait orientation, while the rest of the phone runs at like 120 hertz, right? So it's going to be cool. They can actually localize. I don't know how they have the display split up. Is it in 6 different sections? Is it in 60 different sections? Is it in 6,000 little sections of the display? I have no idea, but I might do a little more homework on this so I can answer that question. But it looks very cool. Very, very awesome. So it'll only display the high refresh rate content when you need it. Now, when you're scrolling, if you're scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on Twitter and you're going all the way to the bottom, or you're going to the bottom of your app drawer, it'll be 120 full blast, right? They can activate the whole screen at 120. It's just, check this out. So example, what if you wanted to watch a YouTube video, right? Like this, in portrait mode, right? You're watching a video like this, and your video is up top, right here at the very top. And then down below, you have other videos, right? So what if this was in 120? The video, what if the video, you put it at, you're watching a video that has a 60 frames per second, right? Somebody shooting in 60 frames per second, looks real nice and smooth. Well, you can keep 60 frames per second up here. And then while you scroll, or if you're not even scrolling, they'll just zero out or put it down to 1 hertz refresh rate on the bottom. Or or to make it at least a little smoother, they could do the top section at 120 hertz, while the bottom is at, I don't know, 60, right? Or 30. Or what if you're playing a game, right? But the gameplay, and you're in portrait mode sideways. What if your gameplay is the basically 3/4 of your screen, while on the right side you have like options and your settings, but you're playing the game over here? Well, your game can be at 120 hertz refresh rate, while this little settings section can only be at 1 hertz, right? It's really, really cool. This is a feature that all the companies will start using, right? You're going to see this on every phone here in the future. Maybe 2 years from now, maybe 5 years from now. I have no idea. All I know is that OnePlus is doing really, really cool stuff with their devices. Absolutely cannot wait to see what they have in store for everybody. So that'll do it for today. I do appreciate the time. OnePlus 13 is coming out very, very soon. Should be. We do not have a release date, but I can guarantee you I will keep everybody up to date. We should get word here in the next few days. Right? It's supposed to come out and before the end of the month. So we only got 2 weeks left. So should hear something here soon. Shoot, could be tomorrow, but whenever it is, stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. Go over to YouTube, search eSIM Studios, subscribe so you get informed whenever news comes out they're launching, or if we get a special, right, or promo codes, we'll let you know. If there's any tricks to trading in a device to get a dollar amount off of the OnePlus 13, or if you're eyeing a OnePlus 13R, but you don't have a device to trade in, we will go over my trade-in hack again. We'll do it every time when a big device gets launched. I'll show you my trade-in hack. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, and you will get notified of all new content that's uploaded, especially in regards to this OnePlus 13 model. So I gotta run. Thank you for viewing the channel. I do appreciate it. And as always, stay tuned, and we will see you tomorrow. Please stay safe. Take care.